My name is Tig Berry. I'm with the group Code Pink. It's a women's peace and social justice movement in the United States and worldwide, actually. And I'm here in beautiful Bandar Abbas in the southern part of Iran to board a ship on its way to Yemen. Hodeida is the name of the port we're going to go to, and we are going to offload with hope the contents of our ship, which includes rice, flour, sugar, water, all the essentials for life and medicine. And we have many doctors, medical personnel that will be coming with us, and they will stay and attend to those many thousands of people that have been killed and wounded, women, children, old people, and I'm doing this for what I believe is to apologize to the nation of Yemen for the complicity of my government in the name of my people, my country people, to the destruction of Yemen. Once again, one of the most poorest countries on the planet, the United States, a great military power, along with Saudi Arabia, a very wealthy nation and great military power, are trying to crush the will of the Yemeni people.
Bonjour, je suis Samba Diagne, je suis consultant politique indépendant. Je suis français et me voilà en Iran dans le cadre d'un voyage humanitaire pour appuyer une flottille, un bateau de la liberté plutôt, un bateau de la liberté qui vise à briser le blocus que subit le peuple yéménite, blocus que lui impose la coalition dite arabe menée par l'Arabie Saoudite.
My name is Christoph Hörstel. I'm from Germany and I am a founder and federal chairman of the political party Deutsche Mitte in Germany. Unfortunately, the bombing campaign continues. That's a massacre. It's against any legal right, and for that reason it is, I think, a duty of those countries who can make a difference globally that they protest. This is what I'm here for. This is a protest against a massacre.
Well, my name is Caleb Maupin. I'm a radical journalist and political analyst. I've been involved in many different progressive organizations struggling for justice in the United States, as well as opposing wars and international aggression around the world. I work with the International Action Center, as well as a youth group called Fight Imperialism, Stand Together. And our intention is to bring flour and medicine and much needed humanitarian aid to the people in Yemen. The people of Yemen are facing a horrendous bombardment from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. US-made cruise missiles are raining onto the country. At least 1,000 innocent people have been killed. Just yesterday, the Saudis targeted a school and children were killed when they bombed a school. People in Yemen are really suffering under this criminal attack from Saudi Arabia. And our intention is to bring humanitarian aid to the people of Yemen and provide them relief. And already, there's been attempts to provide aid, and Iranian aircrafts have been prevented from giving the aid. So now we're going to try by sea to bring aid to the people of Yemen who are desperately in need. This is a humanitarian mission. There will be nothing on the ship except for humanitarian supplies to bring aid, and we want to do everything we can to help the people of Yemen that are desperately in need, suffering from an attack that has really been supported by the United States, and my own government has arranged for this brutal attack on the people of Yemen. And so I feel it's my moral obligation to be on this ship, to stand against this crime being committed by the Saudi government and make sure that the people in Yemen have some relief to their suffering. It's a way of standing against wars, which I've done in the United States, I've done in Latin America, and I'm doing now in Iran and getting on this boat headed toward Yemen.
In April 24, on a Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock p.m., something like this, the story was told to me by one of the participants who is now coordinator of our trip, Mr. Ali Reza Tahami. And he told me that 30 minutes from the landing, 2 Saudi fighter jets, now I know the type, it was Boeing F-15, tried to push the airplane back to Iran. They did a lot of things. They came very close to the airplane with the two fighters. They put even one of the F-15s underneath the A310 Airbus belly to stop it from going down for landing. And but the pilot was very shrewd, and he continued his landing, sinking, losing altitude. And we can all imagine very easily what happens to the fighter pilot sitting below. He's seeing a mountain coming down on him. Yeah. So the Saudi Air Force had to give up the idea of pushing back the Iran Air Red Crescent chartered Airbus 310, and instead they bombed the airport of Yemeni capital Sana'a to make it impossible for the plane to land. That was the aim, the destination. And after that, the Iranian pilot turned around, went back to Iran. After a few minutes, he got a word from the tower: listen, guys, you can still come and land if you're good. Runway is damaged, but not too badly. So immediately, the pilot, without any discussion, turned around again and took the direction of Sana'a again. And again, he had the two fighter jets of the Saudis in the air. As we see from air pictures, they had 3 additional fuel tanks, so to stay in the air some longer. And again, they attacked him. Again, they tried to push him back to Iran. Again, they failed. And again, the Saudis, and that's interesting, bombed the airport of Sana'a. And then finally, the Airbus 310 went back to Iran, took 11 tons of medicines, mainly medicines and other urgently needed medical goods with them. And as Mr. Tahami has told me, exactly these 11 tons are now on board of the ship we are going to board maybe tonight.
Well, if the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia were a country that obeyed international law and followed procedures and respected the rights of other countries and peoples, I wouldn't be afraid. Unfortunately, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is not that kind of country. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at this very moment is violating the rights of the people of Yemen. It has already violated international law by blocking Iranian airplanes from bringing humanitarian aid, and there is a real possibility that our ship, which is heading toward Yemen, could be blocked by the Saudi military and prevented from bringing the aid that the people of Yemen desperately need. And that would be a violation of international law, and that would be a crime against humanity. And if that happens, the Saudi government should be prosecuted and held accountable for that. Preventing people who are in need from getting humanitarian aid is a crime. It is illegal under international law.
First and foremost is that our group, Code Pink, and myself individually, believe in no weapons, believe in no killing, believe in no arms, that there's no war, that there's dialogue for everything. But I was very concerned by the fact that there could be a possibility of, because you see they talk about the news media's Iran's complicity in this what's going on there, but I'm very, very, very sure. I've been assured by the leadership of these groups. I've talked to the people who are loading the boats. I've talked to the many individuals, and I am being told, and I positively believe this, that there are no weapons on this boat, and that there will be no military involvement whatsoever. And I am as confident as anyone could be in that fact.
They are not part of the mission. We are not a military mission. We are not the humanitarian part of a military mission. We are just a humanitarian mission, and of course, as any other ship of global military forces, also the Iranian ship must have the right to take a look at what's happening, especially since this is their taxpayers' money. Now, what the Saudis can do is very clear. We go to the port of Aide. They will try to block the port. They will try to block us. We can easily imagine militarily what that can mean. They can plant mines. They can send ships crossing our way to such a way that there might be a crash accident. All these things can happen, so we just wait and face it. And as far as I'm concerned, that my perception is that the Iranians in these cases are very prudent. We can have confidence that there will be nothing crazy being decided by the Iranian friends. So let's hope for the best that this mission will come to a successful.
It's likely that they could do something. It's possible that they could do something like that to our vessel that's bringing humanitarian aid. That's a risk that I personally am willing to take. Why? Because I see what's happening in Yemen. I know the role that my own government, as well as the government of Saudi Arabia, as well as the Israeli regime, I know what role they play around the world, and I feel as a moral individual that I'm obligated to take a stand against that, even if that means putting myself in danger and taking risks. I'm willing to do that as a person committed to the cause of justice and peace in the world.
My greatest fear is that the aid won't be delivered, and my greatest hope is the aid will be delivered. The country of Yemen has a great financial problem right now, and they're unable to feed and take care of their own people, due mostly to the military program that's been ongoing there since 2001. And it's time for us as American citizens to stand up and say no to our government and to contribute to help to save the Yemeni people, bring those people back into financial success so that they can take care of themselves, because that's what the Yemeni people want. But you can never achieve that while bombs are dropped on your head from an overwhelmingly military force such as Saudi Arabia and the United States.
La France va toujours, comme l'avait dit Laurent Fabius il y a un mois, soutient l'intérêt de ses partenaires, soutient ses partenaires dans la région, notamment ici de l'Arabie Saoudite. Mais ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que l'Arabie Saoudite est l'un des plus grands importateurs d'armes, et notamment d'armes françaises. L'industrie de l'armement français a tout intérêt à aller dans le sens de l'Arabie Saoudite, et donc cette industrie de l'armement français pousse le gouvernement français à aller dans le sens le plus belliqueux, parce qu'on ne vend des armes que quand il y a de la guerre et quand il y a des conflits. D'ailleurs, l'une des choses qui le prouve, c'est que nous sommes en train d'augmenter nos ventes de Rafale dans la région, sachant que nous avions un peu de mal à vendre cet avion depuis de nombreuses années. Donc la France ne fait que suivre ses intérêts économiques, malheureusement. Alors j'ai pas forcément envie de dire la France, parce que le peuple français n'y est pour rien, mais en tout cas certains intérêts particuliers poussent nos gouvernements à prendre des positions qui vont dans le désintérêt des peuples.
Well, the German government is very much in line with the European foreign policy representative, Mrs. Mogherini. It has been voiced from the start, also by the government, including Mrs. Mogherini, that we expect a very short campaign to happen. And there is mild criticism from the EU, and the mildness of the criticism makes sure that the Saudis do understand that there will be no sanctions against them or any other countermeasure, neither from EU nor from NATO, let alone the US, if Saudi Arabia decides to continue, and we can put it into straight terms, the US are secretly encouraging and practically helping the Saudis to continue the massacre in clear breach of all legal rights. Very regrettable. I don't see any reason, unfortunately, why these governments should stop their support. So it's journalism, only to criticize the governments in such a way that the massacre can stop. It's our duty to do that if we are publicists or journalists.
Our government is constantly lecturing us about human rights. Whenever it wants to attack a country, whether it be Iran or Cuba or Venezuela, it tells us, oh, it's doing it in the interest of human rights. But yet, our government props up arms and aligns with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, one of the most brutal, repressive regimes on earth. People are beheaded routinely in Saudi Arabia. People are tortured routinely. Guest workers are exploited. There's not even any notion of human rights in Saudi Arabia. And now, not only is Saudi Arabia violating the rights of its own citizens, as it does all the time, it is now violating the rights of people in another country, the people of Yemen. The people of Yemen, there's been an uprising there, and they've wanted to write a new democratic constitution, begin the process of kind of breaking free and developing their country. There's a coalition of forces that have aligned and are fighting for their independence. And in response to it, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has unleashed this horrific bombing campaign, and the Wall Street Journal has admitted that U.S. military officials are collaborating with the Saudi government in carrying it out. People who work for my government are sitting with Saudi military officials at this very moment and directing them and how to send these cruise missiles that are hitting hospitals and schools and mosques in Yemen. And this is an outrage. I mean, this is a crime against humanity. The people of Yemen desperately need humanitarian aid and relief, and we intend to bring it to them.
The selling to a country such as the human rights violating country of Saudi Arabia is at its best a failure of the United States to understand international law and the will of the world citizenry to stop selling arms to a irresponsible country like Saudi Arabia, a major human rights violating country. The United States just sold them $60 billion worth of military goods. And those goods are being used right now, those bads are being used right now in Yemen to kill women and children. And it's unfortunate that the people of the United States do not know what's happening in Yemen. The problem is that our media coverage of Yemen is weak at best, but if you were to step outside the United States and witness what goes on other media news programs, to see the violence and the destruction in Yemen, the United States would be clamoring for our government to stop. But again, unfortunately, we do not see the pictures of the women and children being pulled from underneath rubble, dead, having another family that has to bury their family members, and then instills in them a great hatred for the United States. The cycle continues to go around and around.
Quand on sait qu'en France, une bonne partie des médias appartiennent à l'industrie de l'armement, je pense qu'ils vont avoir du mal à présenter des choses de manière objective. Donc, effectivement, forcément, ils vont nous présenter ça comme une nécessité de stabiliser la région, d'amener la paix, mais on ne peut pas amener la paix de cette manière en bombardant des civils. Je rappelle que dernièrement, ils ont bombardé des réserves, des réserves alimentaires. Sachant que, et je ne pense pas que c'est pour combattre les rebelles quand on bombarde les réserves alimentaires. Et ceci, c'est la FAO qui le rapporte. Donc effectivement, ce sont bien les civils qui sont visés par ces bombardements.
The U.S. media's coverage of the Yemen conflict has been horrendous. They speak of the people in Yemen that are rising up and trying to fight for their independence. They speak of them as Iranian proxies. That's the language that's used. They're Iranian proxies or agents of Iran. This is ridiculous. Would they believe that the only reason the people in Yemen would want to fight for their independence, the only reason that they'd want to run their own country is because people in Iran have told them to? That's absurd. That's absurd. That's disgusting logic. The people of Yemen are fighting for their independence just like people in the United States fought for their independence from the British Empire in 1776. Well, you know, the people of Yemen want to establish their country. They want independence. They want to build up and not be controlled by Saudi Arabia or Wall Street or London or Tel Aviv or any foreign power. They want the right to self-determination and to run their own country. They've risen up. There's a coalition of forces. It's not only the Ansar Allah organization, but many, many people throughout Yemeni society who are united in their struggle against domination by Saudi Arabia and the West. And it is our duty as moral human beings to stand with them and stand against this crime being carried out by the Saudis.
Every time you hear that it's the involvement of Iran, that this is a Shia Sunni, or that there's something out there, this mysterious entity called Houthi, what you should picture is death, destruction at the hands of Saudi Arabia and the United States. Picture little kids being pulled from rubble. Picture women being pulled from rubble. Picture the sorrow in the families' faces as they're weeping over the dead bodies of their family members. Whenever they talk about Yemen in the news media, they immediately go to Saudi and Iran conflict. That's just to cover the fact that they are unable to cover the truth, which is that people are dying on the ground, people are starving, people are getting diseases that can't be cured because of this war, or what, it's not really a war, it's a massacre, by two overwhelmingly rich, overwhelmingly powerful nations on a very, very poor, small country of Yemen. But a country that I've been to before and I love very much. And Yemen was on the road to democracy when this broke out, and I'm sure that that had a lot to do with it. The first and only democracy on the Arabian Peninsula.
Il est important qu'il y ait des Français qui montrent que la France n'est pas uniquement derrière, ou bien des Français ne soutiennent pas tout ce qui va détruire les peuples, mais les Français sont là pour soutenir les peuples, soutenir les innocents, et il faut qu'il y ait davantage de personnes. S'il faut être l'exemple au risque de notre vie, eh bien, on le fera, mais en tout cas, il faut, comme pour Gaza, on le fera pour le Yémen et pour d'autres peuples. Là, la situation est particulière parce qu'elle est très rare, c'est qu'on fait un blocus humanitaire. Dans d'autres régions du monde, il se passe des guerres, l'aide alimentaire arrive, les aides médicales arrivent. Dans ce cas précis, comme dans le cas de Gaza, il y a un blocus d'une armée d'occupation, parce que ce qui est en train de se passer aujourd'hui, l'Arabie Saoudite essaye d'occuper le Yémen. Il y a une armée d'occupation et qu'il ne faut pas réagir que quand c'est Israël qui le fait vis-à-vis de Gaza. Il faut le faire aussi quand il y a des États injustes comme l'État saoudien, lorsqu'il le fait pour le Yémen. Donc il y a un blocus humanitaire et il faut briser ce blocus. Il faudrait que le maximum de personnes s'engagent dans ce sens.
You can neglect massacres, killings, brutalities, corrupt policies globally, but then it will certainly come to your doorstep, and then you watch out what happens to you.
Spread the word about this humanitarian mission. Let everyone know what is happening. Let everyone know that we are trying to bring much needed aid to the people of Yemen who are suffering under this horrendous campaign. Don't let the media keep this under wraps. Spread the word. Let people know that there are people from all over the world who are boarding this vessel and are headed to bring humanitarian aid to the people of Yemen and are not going to allow Saudi Arabia to prevent people in need from getting assistance and to continue this horrendous crime, this bombing and destruction. There are people who are willing to take a risk, get on a boat, and stand against Saudi crimes.
There goes the peace boat. Humanitarian effort by the Iranian people to save those people in Yemen that are suffering from the brutality of two extremely wealthy, extremely highly technologically advanced military mights. Let them go in peace, let them complete their mission.